You're listening to the Miles Ahead podcast with Dr. Miles Graham Salisbury, where he shares tactics, techniques, and protocols to improve your physical, spiritual, and mental fitness in order to become self-led, grounded, and integrated.
And we're back with the Miles Ahead podcast. Today I have Lindsay Dettwiler. I want to say Dettwiler because I want to say it properly. And this is a German way, but...
Yeah, Dettwiler is the Americanized version. It's technically Swiss, so you'd say it in Swiss German.
Schweizerdeutsch.
Uh-huh.
So you're Swiss. Look at you. Didn't know that.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You didn't used to live in Europe, right? You've just been there a lot. Yeah.
No, unfortunately. I'd still be there.
Yeah. I want to go back and live there again. Yeah. So we got to tell everybody about who you are, what you do, why you're on this podcast.
Yeah.
Besides them actually reading the show notes part of the podcast. They're like, why is this person on my podcast? I don't know if you want to give your quick elevator pitch before we get into your origin story.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a personal trainer here in Lake Oswego.
Project
At
360.
Project 360. Yep.
And other places.
Yep. Gotta rep the gym. And yeah, I moved here about 3 years ago. Grew up in Colorado. Lived in Southern California for almost 20 years. I'm in recovery, so got sober down there in Orange County.
We'll get into that.
Yep. And yeah, I'm a mountain girl. Grew up in a really small town in Colorado and grew up skiing and snowboarding and camping and doing all the outdoor stuff. So I love that about Oregon for sure.
What town was it that you're in?
Steamboat Springs.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I lived in Boulder from 2005 to 2010, I think. 11.
Yeah.
Were we there at the same time?
No, because I graduated high school in 2002 and I was gone.
You out of there?
Yeah. Yeah. It very small town. About 8,000 people lived there when I was growing up there. And it's physically in a valley, so it felt very isolated.
A little constricting.
Yeah, and I needed to get out. So yeah, as soon as I graduated, 3 days later, I was on a plane to Hawaii, and
Oh, that's pretty smart.
yeah, I thought it was. My parents weren't super happy about that, but
They didn't want you to go to Hawaii?
well, I was supposed to go to Colorado State and
They had plans for you, that kind of thing.
Well, I'd agreed to them, but then
You changed course.
changed my mind at the last minute and was like, all right.
Bye.
Yep. Took a tent and a backpack and hung out on Kauai for a
Nice.
couple months.
Very cool.
Yeah, I lived in a guy's yard for $40 a week in my tent. He had a little outdoor kitchen and outdoor shower that we could use. And
Sometimes I wonder if we're actually not stupid at 18, because that sounds like maybe a good idea right now.
honestly,
That sounds awesome.
it has made what I feel like it's given me is that I'm not afraid to do things.
Yeah.
Like I've gone on big international trips by myself. I'm just not afraid to tackle things because I did that and it was scary. I'm not going to lie.
Sure.
Also because the friends that I met there left within 3 days of me getting there. So I was like,
Whoa.
Okay, well, I'll just
So you
hang out here.
You wanted to be there, and they're like, this is just a little mini vacation.
Well, we had planned to be there for the whole summer. And then one of the girls and I were going to get a place and do
it.
Do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they had been there for a couple weeks before I got there, the whole group of friends, and they all got in a fight. It was the day that they picked me up from the airport. And I was like, I'm here. I'm in Hawaii. This is great. And they're like,
Awkward.
we're going home. And I was like, well, I can't go home now. I told
No.
everybody that I was moving to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed, and
Look at you.
yeah, it was scary. It was my first time, not my first time away from home, but it felt far.
Yeah.
It felt like I was
Yeah.
a long way from home, which I was.
Yeah, you get that first pang of homesickness that you don't think you're going to have, but you do have.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I just went from there, went to Maui, stayed in a hostel, met some really cool people there, became friends, met somebody there that was in kind of the same situation as I was. He had moved to Hawaii to be with a girlfriend. He rented a place, got enrolled in school, and then she dumped him.
Classic.
Yeah. So he had an extra bedroom, and I was like, okay, sure. And that turned out really well. We were great friends, and we still keep in touch.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so that worked out well, and it was a great adventure. I worked on a boat, a 100-foot yacht, and we did like snorkel cruises and sunset dinner cruises, and so I got to spend the whole, almost a year on the water, and it was great.
That sounds
I learned
good
a
right
lot.
now.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was probably escaping or getting away from rough upbringing, I would imagine.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why I went to Hawaii. Because I wanted to get as far away from Steamboat as I could.
Mm-hmm.
High school was tough for me. There was one public school in the whole town, and so I'd known all these people my whole life. I was bullied. I was ostracized. So by the time I graduated, I was done. I was like, get me away from these people.
Fuck this place.
Yeah. And where do you think everybody goes for college from Steamboat? They all go to either CU in Boulder or CSU in Fort Collins. And
exactly.
I was like, I'm not going to just continue my high school experience.
All right.
There's got to be more out there. And yeah, so I just ran away, and
it's a good spot to run away to.
It is. It's great. I mean, yeah. I did get a little homesick, though.
It's weird,
Hawaii
right?
is pretty far. Even though I was out on the water so much, I got island fever. Like, I was kind of like, get me out of here.
Yeah, that happens to most people. I think I never have experienced that because I've gone so much because my family's from there, my dad's side.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Since 1820.
Wow.
I've always felt fine. I never had that experience, but I've heard a lot of people get that.
Yeah, it was very strange. It was this claustrophobic feeling, even though I had plenty of space. I mean, yeah, is very strange. So that's when I did go back to Steamboat for a few months. Did a season of snowboarding, which was great. But that just reinforced why I wanted to be away from the fam. So
yeah, another reason you probably left because of we were talking before about childhood trauma bumps.
Yeah,
you don't have to talk about that in depth if you don't want to, but if it helps.
Yeah, I mean, so what's interesting is until I was in my mid to late 20s, I would swear to anyone that asked that I had a great childhood, the perfect childhood. Everything was great,
Classic.
And in some respects, it was. I never wanted for anything. We always had enough money. We weren't rich, but we got to do some cool stuff. And, my parents were together all while I was growing up, which was, that's a big...
Feels normal and safe. And
feels normal and safe. And it was very much like, okay, you make a commitment, you stick to it, you don't get divorced. And that's how I was raised. We weren't super religious. I mean, we would go to church on Easter and Christmas. So it wasn't like I had any religious stuff pounded into me.
You had some early childhood trauma with, was a infection or something, a neurological thing or something?
Yeah. So I was just a sick kid, physically. And so I started having ear surgeries on my ears when I was 8 months old, and was just always kind of in a lot of physical pain, being sick. But then when I got into swimming at a young age, and that was like a passion. That was kind of where my first experience with fitness
Plant the seed.
came about, and I loved swimming competitively. And I all of a sudden, when I was like 12, I think, I started getting all this pain in my major joints, my knees, my elbows, my shoulders. And so I wasn't able to swim anymore. It was just too painful, and I could barely walk. And my parents took me to doctors, and at one point they were like, well, she's lying. There's nothing physically wrong
You're
with her.
lying.
And
Yes, I love this disease.
luckily, my mom was like, no, I know my kid. Like, she would not quit swimming, but, she wouldn't lie about that. And so it turned out it was a rare virus. She doesn't even remember what it was. I don't really have any record of what it was, but a neurologist, a pediatric neurologist, spotted it after a while. And yeah, big, huge dose of steroids, and that knocked it out. My joints really have never been the same. I've just always kind of had inflammation and pain here and there. Actually, a lot here and there. I'm pretty injury prone. But, that doesn't really keep me from moving.
Is it funny? I keep thinking of Trevor Boehm's statement, your greatest gifts grow in the garden of your wounds. And you had wounds early on around physical pain and stuff, and now you work in the fitness field.
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact that I've been in a physical pain my whole life, and because I have scoliosis too, that I've had from a young age, that really probably should have been dealt with a little more aggressively than it was. So I've had back pain my whole life. And anyway, I think it's just made me tougher. Like, it just doesn't faze me to be uncomfortable. And I think that has allowed me to do things that some people are just not willing to do. Some people are not willing to be uncomfortable.
A lot of people.
Yeah. And then now, later in life, it's also allowed me to be uncomfortable emotionally and mentally more.
It translates.
Yeah, it really does. I really think it does. Yeah.
You've taken a lot of shit in your life. I know we're going to get into more of it, but you're good at taking shit.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, but that equals resilience on the other side, which is good.
Yeah. And it just, really the tough part of my childhood, my father is, he hasn't been diagnosed with narcissism, but he definitely has narcissistic tendencies. And
like telling the therapist that he's training the therapist. That kind of
yes.
thing, right?
Yeah. He teaches his therapist lots of
the
things.
latest and greatest.
Yes.
To make sure.
Yeah. To make sure they know.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm just like, okay, Dad, I'm glad you're going to therapy. Maybe we should talk about getting a new therapist.
No, his therapist is going to therapy with him. But I'm paying for it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was, and my parents just really kind of checked out by the time I was in high school. And so I just really didn't have a lot of guidance when I really could have used it. I just I did my own thing, which I thought was great at the time. Now looking back, I'm like, I wish somebody would have, done a little more guiding.
Little guardrails.
Yeah, some guardrails would have been nice. But it's made me who I am, and
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. Yeah, you do have a unique story. That's really wanted you in here, because every time I talk at the gym and I get to know a little bit more about you, I'm like, damn, oh shit, that's amazing. And at some point we'll talk about dating, because that's been interesting. I'm sure the listener would not expect that's coming from this podcast, but we will talk about dating, because you've had some great stories.
Yeah, I've got lots of dating stories. I just have lots of stories.
You do. You do.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I've had an interesting life.
This is true. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
So somehow those wounds translated to the fitness field. But before you got to personal training, you were working on a ship off the coast of Kauai. And then you
Yeah.
found your way to LA at that point?
Yeah, San Diego,
San Diego,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, so once I spent a few months back in Steamboat snowboarding, and just it became very clear to me. We had some family trauma, and it just became clear to me that I was not needed in that area. It was not good for me. It wasn't good for the rest of my family, and so Hawaii was a little too far away,
Mhm.
so I packed all my stuff up in my car and drove to San Diego. I had my dad's best friend from high school and his family live in LA, and I've known them my whole life, and so they were my home base.
Mhm.
I lived with them for a while I was figuring stuff out, and then I just moved to San Diego, and I'll never forget, I was looking in the want ads because this was before.
A newspaper?
Yeah, it was an actual newspaper. There was no Craigslist. There was no,
The olden days.
internet, the olden days for sure. And yeah, I just found an ad in the paper looking for a roommate and moved in with 3 other women. I should say girls. I think I was 18 or 9. I must have been 19 at the time.
Mhm.
Yeah. And started my partying career. I mean, I started my partying career in Hawaii for sure. Well, that's not even true. In high school.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely high school.
So it's probably a mix of, oh, this is fun, and then maybe sneaking in there, oh, this actually helps alleviate some of the childhood pain that I've gone through or trauma.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and at the time I wasn't thinking about childhood pain or
course not.
family pain. It was just I was so uncomfortable in my own
In your
skin.
body. Yep.
I just I couldn't stand myself.
What did it feel like, the uncomfortableness?
I felt like jumping out of my own skin
Mhm.
all the time.
Mhm.
Like I was just so uncomfortable in who I was, and I couldn't imagine that anyone else could accept me the way I was, because I
Mhm.
couldn't accept me the way I was.
Right.
And I didn't really know why I wasn't good enough.
Yeah. No one's
in my
explaining
mind.
these things to you. Yeah.
But I knew I wasn't good enough, or this is how I was thinking. This is, yeah. And so I just assumed that everybody else thought I wasn't good enough.
As we do.
Yeah. And so, yeah, when I found smoking cigarettes actually was the first thing that I found that took me out of my body a little bit and
Nicotine.
let me just like I can breathe for a second.
Which is ironic because it's through smoking.
I know, isn't that? I
But
know.
it's the nicotine.
It really is. Yeah, it was the nicotine, and then from there, yeah, I found alcohol, and man, it became my best friend.
Yeah. You attached to the substance, which gave you the need you were looking for, which was, I need to calm down and feel safe in my nervous system.
Yep.
Humans can't do it for me, but this substance does. I'm going to attach to that because humans aren't trustworthy. I ain't attaching to those people. Can't attach to myself because I don't like myself. But substances, hell yeah, game on.
Oh.
This is for a lot of people with addictions.
Yep, absolutely. And it finally, and at first it worked.
Oh, yes, the scary thing about it is it does work at first.
At first it worked.
Uh-huh.
It was fun. It was, everybody else was doing it too. So it wasn't out of the ordinary.
Yeah, you weren't a weirdo or something. Everyone else was getting down.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt accepted, and
which also probably you're kind of looking for unconsciously or consciously.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because, with my childhood, with my dad especially, I just was never good enough, is how I perceived it. Is like, I can't make him happy. Like, my whole being for a long time was like, how can I make my dad happy?
So sad.
And
right. But that's what we
it
do
never
as kids.
worked. Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible until they stop being like that. But
Yeah.
if you got a personality disorder,
Yeah.
good luck.
Yeah.
That's an unwinnable game for kids, but we will play it in order to get attention, to feel safe in our environment.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
loved. Right.
Yeah. And, my mom is a sweet, sweet woman. And, but she had to deal with her own stuff. I mean, she was in a failing marriage that she felt like she
was her fault.
couldn't get, that she felt like was her fault. Her little sister had died tragically.
Like when she was...
No, right around the time I went to Hawaii, actually. Wow. My aunt was diagnosed with uterine cancer. Yeah. And so while I was in Hawaii, she was dying.
Damn.
And my family's dealing with this. And she was very close with my mom, my mom's little sister, and she was only 42, I believe. So almost the age I am now. Like, it's crazy for me to think about dying in the next few months.
Yeah.
But yeah, she passed away. It was just awful. And so my mom grief just really transformed her into somebody that I didn't recognize.
Been a shell of herself for a while.
A long while. Yeah.
It's like a
yeah.
protracted
And it had been going on before too. Just with her own stuff.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah. So you're kind of just figuring shit out by yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I was but when I went to Hawaii, and then especially because I came back after my aunt passed away and was like, okay, I can help fix this. I can be there for my family, because that was the mentality I had. And they all were just like, get out. Like, it was almost like, because they had gone through this trauma, I wasn't there, and they didn't want me anywhere around them.
Like, circled the wagons and nobody but in-group, out-group.
I think they were all just stuck in their own pain.
Okay.
And my mom especially, because I kind of look like my aunt, and I think I reminded my mom of her. Yeah. And she would very often call me Mindy, call me her sister's name. And so I think I just really reminded her of her little sister, and it really hurt her to have me around.
What kind of message does that send to your unconscious, though, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Again, another reason I'm somehow not good enough.
Yeah,
which is complete and utter bullshit, but we're picking up on that whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and she was going through it. Now it's like, okay, that she was in grief. She was going through a hard time, but anyway, so got in my car, went to California, and at that point I was like, I'm on my own.
Lonely.
This, like, I just kind of, I just didn't even see myself as part of the family really anymore.
How'd that land for you?
Not great.
I'd imagine.
Like, I mean, I still talk to them a lot, and but I was just separate. And it needed to be that way.
Perceivedly so. Yeah.
Yeah. To protect myself, really.
Oh, so some of that was for you. I need to have some boundaries around. Yeah. The stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
But also you're sort of self-exiling in a way.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I loved living in San Diego. I mean, 19-year-old girl living in San Diego, and
that's a perfect place to be.
I worked in a restaurant, and it was just a big party all the time. It was great. Mm-hmm. But yeah, at that point, like, my addiction had really taken hold, and
what was going on there? What was the drug or drugs of choice?
At that point, it was mostly alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Smoking weed was never a big thing for me. It kind of made me paranoid and stuff, so I would rather drink.
Mm-hmm.
cocaine I had done cocaine before and I really liked it.
Mm.
It was just more expensive.
Yeah.
Like
and highly illegal.
Yeah.
Well, we also have, I mean, you and I both share this with being on the ADD, ADHD spectrum, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Cocaine, like that's, our brains are searching for things like this. That's why
Yes.
Adderall often works, or Ritalin works for people like us, although that did not work for me. Never done cocaine because probably would be the same as you. It'd probably be
That's
like,
a good thing.
this thing, I feel normal. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that layer that was going on for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
maybe you weren't aware of it at that point either.
oh, absolutely not.
Mhm.
I was not aware of it at all. But, the things that come along with a partying mentality, all the drama, and I was a blackout drinker from the beginning.
Just right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, that's definitely a hallmark of alcoholism.
Yeah.
The blacking out part, yeah.
Yeah, and so I found myself in lots of dangerous situations,
Sure.
situations that
You don't remember?
I don't remember how I got there, situations that I would not have chosen to be in if I were in my right mind.
Yep.
And so along with that comes a lot of just demoralization, like
Beat yourself up.
beat myself up.
Mhm.
I'm not good enough. That whole mentality that I had
That
brought
cycle.
with me.
And then it's like, oh, you guys need to shut up. Let's drink some more.
Exactly. Exactly.
Let's drown you out.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And then, I did get into more of the cocaine use on a regular basis, which, not great.
Probably hard to come off too. Probably unpleasant.
Well,
Or was it not so bad?
yeah, that was more of a binge thing. It was definitely
okay.
like the next day or two was rough.
But then you'd come back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you weren't a daily user. That's good.
Well, not yet. I got there.
You got there.
I got there.
But that withdrawal was unfun.
Yeah. Yeah. So San Diego, I was there for 7 years. I lived in Palm Springs for a year in the middle there. I was a blackjack dealer.
No way.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. This is another chapter of
You've lived a lot
my
of lives.
life. Yeah.
You're like a vampire. Just keep living lives.
It was great. Yeah. My boyfriend at the time, his mom had been a Playboy bunny in the original Playboy Club.
You just swear you have stories that open up stories that open up stories. I haven't heard of this one, but do tell.
Yeah. And she was this little Spitfire Irish woman who had ran away from Ireland to London in the 70s. And she knew Hugh Hefner and his brother, and they taught her how to be a blackjack dealer. She had like Arabian princes bringing her furs and taking her to their palaces, places. But so then fast forward, she was able to they got a green card for their whole family in the lottery, in the Irish lottery, to come over to the States. And so she taught me how to be a blackjack dealer and hung out in Palm Springs for about a year. Unfortunately, that was right in coming up on 2008 and the economic crash.
Oh, yeah.
Then. And so actually, it was probably good that jobs in casinos kind of went away, or at least a lot of them. So I wasn't able to continue that path. But then I found I went back to restaurants and nightclubs. I was working in the gay neighborhood of San Diego, and I found my people, gay men. Because a lot of them, at least that worked in the industry I was in, loved to party, and I fit right in.
Sure.
And so it didn't feel weird to me to be drinking and doing drugs most of the time.
No judgment, no shame.
Exactly. Exactly. So, but that's where things started to spiral. And my best friend at the time tried to commit suicide right in front of me. He OD'd, and ended up in a coma for 3 days in the ICU.
Wow.
Yeah, and that really facilitated kind of my downward spiral to my bottoming out of just being like, I cannot continue to live this way. And luckily, at this point, I was close with my mom still. My parents had gotten a divorce when I was 22, which was a big slap in the face. And
we don't give up.
Really, I think, well, I was just shocked because it was always like, stay together. You made a commitment, you do it. And so that, I think, colored a lot of my dating experiences down the road, was because that really made me just be like, okay, well, I'm never trusting anyone.
Right.
I'm never getting married. If you're going to be married for 25 years and then all of a sudden somebody's like, screw you.
See you later.
See you later. And it didn't help that my dad really made it clear that he resented my sister and I and my mom.
It's fucked up. Yeah.
So I was just like, well, okay, done.
Not really trusting the whole relationship thing.
Yeah. So, anyway, my mom, I'm skipping a whole bunch of drama, but my mom made me an ultimatum. I had actually been in a mental hospital because I was unwilling. This is how much I needed the substances to survive at this point. Like, I could not be in my own head without a substance.
Because you were withdrawing like crazy.
Well, it wasn't even the physical part. It was
the drowning out of the psychological pain.
Yeah.
And that was coming back loud.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just could not live in my own head.
Or your body.
Or my body. And but it did get to a head. It was, I was having a hard time hiding it by this point.
Yeah.
And so I think I got drunk and was like, I'm going to kill myself. And so my mom, being very worried about me,
took that seriously.
It did take it seriously, to her credit, and was like, okay, let's check you into somewhere that can get you some help. And honestly, if I had been like, actually, I'm just struggling with drugs and alcohol, then it would have been a different story. But because I was not willing to quit, I was like, I will not be sober. There's no way that I'm going to live this life without my crutch, without my best friend.
It literally feels like your best friend.
Yeah.
Because you're attaching to that need.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I was willing to check myself into a mental hospital. Like,
that's how
literally.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's addiction is just.
It really is. But it makes sense. But it is nuts, but it makes sense.
Yeah. And I didn't have to do that. I could have just said, hey, I need maybe to go to rehab or something. But no. And so anyways.
Well, it sounds like you probably needed both, but maybe going the substance abuse route first and then mental health second maybe would have been the move. But you reversed it. I reversed it and got everybody off my back for a little while. Got on some meds, convinced the doctors that, I just have a couple glasses of wine a week with my girlfriends after work. Yeah. Box checked.
Yeah. So obviously that did not work for long. I think as soon as I was back in San Diego, I was off and running again with the cocaine and the alcohol. And so then finally, my mom gave me an ultimatum and was like, okay, you have to go to this inpatient drug and alcohol rehab or you're cut off. And by this time I couldn't hold a job. I had gotten fired from my restaurant and nightclub job. Like when that group of people is telling you've got a problem and saying, looking at you sideways, like, oh, great. That's not a good sign.
That is a fair point.
Yeah. So, yeah, so I really didn't have a choice. I mean, I did, and I thought about it, but I was in Boulder at the time where I didn't know anybody. My uncle lived there.
You're in Boulder at this point.
Yeah, because my family had,
They moved there.
well, they brought me back to Colorado because they didn't know what to do with me. I was kind of insane, and they didn't know what was going on with me.
Oh, was the facility in Boulder?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Well, and I was staying with my uncle, and it's kind of a long story, but it was to the point where it's like, oh, we can't deal with you anymore. Like, you're very sick. You either need to agree to get help, or we're not giving you money to get back home or to San Diego, right? Yeah. I didn't know people in Boulder other than my family. And so, and it was winter.
Oh, God.
So I mean, but I really did consider, like, well, I could figure something out, maybe, but luckily I did make the decision to go. And I was just telling the story the other day that I got to the front door of this place and I just took a deep breath, and I don't know what it was, but I was like, all right, God or whoever the hell is up there, if you help me, if you fix this for me or do something for me, I will do what these people tell me to do.
You're open.
And at that moment, for whatever reason, I was like, okay, I will do what these people tell me to do. And I haven't had a drink since.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's a spiritual experience.
Oh, it was a spiritual experience for sure. And I feel like, now I call God my higher power.
Sure. Yeah.
But that absolutely, they have kept their end of the deal, and I do my best
to
take suggestion and keep my end of the deal and do what other people that know better than I do ask me to do or suggest that I do. And lo and behold, it's been 15 and a half years. So
that's impressive.
So yeah, it hasn't been easy. I'll tell you that.
I bet. Yeah. And you spent some time also now in therapy unpacking the psychological, emotional wounds that probably were the triggers for the substance abuse, which is smart of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been in therapy this whole time, really, most of it.
Yep.
15 years. And
you did 12 steps for a little bit, right?
Yeah, I still do.
Still do. Great.
Yeah.
That has such good data on good outcomes.
I've gone through my ups and downs in my feelings towards it, and I've met great people in it. And I've met not so great people in it. And that's something that, people have told me is like, just because you're in the program, in a 12-step program, doesn't mean that you're healthy,
Right.
So that's always good to think. But it through the long run, it's been a support that has always been there. And even when I drift away from it for a little while,
you can come back.
I can come back, and it's like no time has passed.
Open arms.
And I can. It's amazing. And some of the friendships I've had, or I do have now. And the other thing is friendships with women, which I did not have before.
You didn't?
No. I mean, that's some of my trauma growing up, was being bullied.
Right. So you distance from...
really ostracized from my best friends.
So it's like a lack of trust of women.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I hung out with gay men for years.
That's right. And you're like, oh, this is cool. You guys are kind of like feminine, but you're not weird and maneuvery or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been able to build up a lot of trust with women. I have a sponsor right now who's amazing.
Great.
And it's just such a great support for me.
It's really cool. The peer support really is a big part of why that is healing. And then having a sponsor, And I always say, like, I've looked at the 12 steps and have had patients that go through recovery and they tell me about it. Like, anybody that goes through those 12 steps would come out a better human. That's hard-ass work.
Absolutely.
Hard-ass work, but amazing.
It is. Yeah. And you don't have to be addicted to a substance to get benefit
100%
from that.
Yep.
And what I would say, because there are some people who it doesn't work for them, and that's perfectly fine. Some people are very avoidant of it and say, no, I'm not doing that.
It's
But
normal.
and a lot of it is because of the spiritual part of it, but the spiritual part of it is what saved my life.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can make it your own, right? It's
Oh
not-
yeah, it doesn't have to be God. I
Yeah.
mean, I dabbled, like my first couple of years of sobriety, I went to church. I even
Sure.
went on a mission trip to
Sure.
South Africa
Gotta
with my church.
test the
and
waters, yeah.
was baptized. And
Mhm.
then the ideology of it
Didn't sit well.
didn't sit well with
Mhm.
me, and I decided to move away from a organized religion.
Sure.
But I still have my spiritual connection.
Mhm. Well, that's
that
the point of it, right?
yeah, exactly. And I'm so grateful for that, because that's, like I had told you, drugs and alcohol were my best friend, because all the people in my life had let me down at some point.
And the drugs don't. Well, actually, they do, but
Yeah, but the drugs and alcohol were always there, whether I'd had a good day, a bad day, no matter what I did,
Mhm.
they were there. And people are not like that. And, going through therapy, it's like, of course people aren't like that. We're human. People are going to let you down.
Yeah.
And that's why having a relationship with a higher power has helped me so much, because that will never let me down.
Nope.
And when I'm having a shit day and the person that I usually talk to shuts me down for whatever reason, which will happen,
It will happen.
and
Yeah.
I'm feeling really alone.
Mhm.
I just remember, I'm like, okay, there's something out there that loves me and wants the best for me, and I'm going to be okay.
And if you just take that feeling in, you can get chills.
Absolutely.
It's an interesting phenomena with humans.
It really is. And the more, it's a skill. The
Yeah, you
more
gotta
I
practice.
practice it,
Yeah.
the easier it gets, and the more effective it is
Mhm.
too.
Mhm.
And so that's really how I've made it through the last 15 and a half years, is not taking a drink ever.
Mhm.
Like, that is just not
Just hard
an
pass.
option
Mhm.
ever.
Mhm.
Like, it doesn't, it crosses my mind occasionally. Like, I'll
course.
get a craving.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Less and less now,
Mhm.
but I still will.
Mhm.
But it's just not an option anymore.
Mhm.
And that's how I view it, is like, when something hard happens,
That's not how you cope.
it's not an option. It's not going to make anything better. And so that's the first thing. And then the second thing is just staying connected with my higher power
Mhm.
and trusting that things are going to work out okay.
Mhm.
Because they always have.
Just trusting in that.
Like,
'cause
where
you have-
am I?
you have
I'm
data.
sitting right now talking to you.
Yeah.
Is,
How do you think about you here right now on the podcast to 20 years ago?
exactly.
Totally different human.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Now, people trust me.
Mm-hmm.
People
Yeah.
want to help me, want to give me opportunities.
Got billionaire clients.
Yeah. Well,
Like literally.
well, no, maybe not literally.
Well,
but
multi-millionaire.
yeah, Lake Oswego is a good place to be a trainer.
Yes, it
I'll
is.
tell you that.
Yeah. Our gym is not boring. It's
Yeah,
true.
yeah. And now moving, and that's how I got into fitness, was when I got sober, I couldn't work in casinos and bars and nightclubs anymore.
Right. Too many triggers. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have so much respect for people that just get sober, going to 12-step programs and maybe going to a therapist, but then they still continue with their everyday life. I had to just totally change
Just nuke that shit.
everything.
Yeah.
Moved away from San Diego.
Yep. I'd have to do the same.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Quit, had to totally change what I did for a living, what I did for work, what I did for fun, everything. But that's what I had to do.
But you've already kind of done that a few times, right?
Oh yeah.
You've what was the word? Just reinvented yourself in a way multiple times. That's why I call it kind of like a vampire. Like, if I'm 130 and I gotta change my identity because people will know I'm not aging. Blah blah. You've kind of done that snake shedding its skin multiple times. But
Yeah.
you've been in this skin for quite a while now, which is good. Like seems like you found a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
So continue with, tell me about when you, like the personal trainer, I think you're just about to get to it. Like,
Yeah. So I needed to get a job, not in a harmful industry. And I've always, from like swimming and working out, I actually did have a really great coach in a college class I took, a weightlifting class I took. And he was an ex-Olympian, and he really took an interest in me. I wasn't the only female in the class, but I was the only one that was interested in actually learning how to lift weights. And so he taught me how to bench press, and it was fun. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And he, at the end of the semester, I'll never forget, he got me this little plastic trophy that like had my name and said like bench press champion on it or something. I don't even remember how much it was. It was probably like 75 pounds or something that I worked my way up to or something.
oh, nice job.
But it was stuff like that I was like, oh, okay, I like moving my body. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel better. It can give me a little shift in perspective and reality almost.
Yeah, going back to not feeling safe in your body, maybe that was actually helping that. Instead of substances, it was something healthier.
Absolutely.
And actually, substances will make you calm your nervous system, but then you're also numbing your nervous system. You're just checking the fuck out. With working out, you're still able to be in contact with your own self and nervous system, and it feels better with the endorphins and all the neuroscience we know. I wonder if that's one of the reasons on top why it felt so good for you.
I know, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I got a job at 24 Hour Fitness just at the front desk. And I moved up pretty quickly. So I became a manager on the customer service side. I've always been a really hard worker. Like that's just
Sounds like it.
Always been what I've done. So I moved up pretty quickly. I started running because my boss, the GM at the gym, just one day was like, Lindsay, I'm training for a half marathon. You're coming with me. And I was like, wait, what? Like I'd never run before. I was not a runner. And so I started going on in the middle of the day with my boss. And I was just like huffing and puffing to keep up with this guy. Like it was brutal. But I learned that like focusing on my breathing and my body while I was running, it was a moving meditation.
Yeah.
It really let me check out a little bit from the anxieties and
check in with what's
and
just present moment kind of. Yeah.
Exactly, and just be present. And so that's how I started running, which was awesome. And then at some point I was sick of the customer service side. I was like, I don't want to do people are so mean to me.
Yeah.
Like working in the service industry, I had never had people yell at me the way that people yelled at me in the gym.
Well, in service industry, you can just go tell the cooks to spit in the burger, like, and get some revenge. You can't do anything with these guys.
Yeah. But so I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I got to find something else to do. But the fitness director was like, no, don't go. Like, go get a personal training certification. You'll be great at it. I'll teach you everything you need to know.
Great.
And so that's how I became a trainer. He took me under his wing, and there were a lot of people that had personal trainers there that had a lot of experience, and they took me under their wing and taught me how to be a trainer and how to treat people, how to help people. And it opened up my eyes to like, oh my God, I can help people. This feels so good. And so that's what I've been doing ever since is being a trainer. And I've come across a lot of people in recovery training.
I bet.
A lot of my clients have been in recovery, and that's been really cool.
And as we know with training, that your clients often will open up emotionally. So Josh and I were talking about that the other day, and Marlon, it happens. I mean, it just happens. It's normal. Yeah,
I mean, you learn a lot about each other, because how often, like, if you train with someone 3 days a week for an hour, that's 3 hours a week of one-on-one time.
That's more than I get with people.
Yeah. And that's more than you get with your friends usually, or,
Sure,
just depending.
Sure.
So you start to get to know each other, and slowly, it wasn't right away, but slowly I started getting comfortable sharing with people that I was in recovery.
Uh-huh.
And that was great too. And now I'm really not shy about it, for the most part.
That's good. I mean, a sign your recovery is getting stronger. Because you're just, how do we destroy shame? Bring it to the light.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be ashamed. There are perfectly good reasons why these things happened. And you can help other people with talking about it.
Absolutely. And I mean, all of that is true. And also, it's become less stigmatized over the years.
Thankfully.
That I've been sober. Like, it's not weird to not drink. Like, when I first got sober, people still would give me a hard time sometimes about not drinking.
A lot of people aren't drinking anymore. With all the sleep science.
Now, people just are choosing not to.
Yep.
And it
health reasons.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly. Which is great. I love that.
And if you also look up like AA or NA meetings near me, you'll be mind blown how many pop up.
Oh yeah.
There's thousands.
Yeah.
Just sitting right next to you in your neighborhood, you have no idea.
Yeah.
It's a big movement. It's always been there.
It's always been there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. So, so now I guess COVID rolled around. I was in Huntington Beach, California. I was training at a private gym by this time.
Mm-hmm.
And, things got real weird. I had to start training my clients over Zoom, which having ADHD was really challenging.
Oh my God.
Like trying to focus on that, like watch someone's form as they're like in their little makeshift gym with like bands, and I'm just like, oh my God.
Bizarre time that was.
Yeah. So, and I had just been in a fairly serious car accident too, where they couldn't find my phone.
That's right. You just told me that the other day. You hit your head on the windshield. Someone T-boned you or something, right?
Somebody T-boned me. They ran a red light, and I hit my head on the driver's side window.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a concussion, and I don't remember it at all. But they couldn't find my phone. It had gone like up under my seat or something, and so they were like, "Well, we got to take you in the ambulance." I had my dog with me. And
luckily, the dog was fine, right?
The dog, she was fine. I don't know how. She was fine. And so, I ended up in the hospital. Luckily, okay, here's a tip. You've got to memorize one person's phone number.
You probably should do that these days. And
At least one. Because if I hadn't known my sister's phone number, I don't know what I would have done. I would have figured something out. But anyway, so that was my first inkling of like, oh, this is why people live close to family. Because my sister had to like call all my friends' workplaces and try to go through my social media to try and find people to come pick me up from the hospital. Because here I don't have a phone, I have no car. They cut all my clothes off me when I got to the hospital.
Holy shit, you got really mangled.
Yeah, well, because they had to do a full body CT scan. They were worried I had some kind of internal bleeding. Injuries.
Wow.
I didn't, thank goodness.
But you walked away from that, right? Just walked out.
I did. I had to get staples in my head. I had a concussion. I broke my hand.
Oh, okay.
My neck is still
a little tweaked.
Yeah, still flares up every now and then. But that's just add it to the list of aches and pains. So anyway, things kind of built up, and my sister and I had done a lot of work. She's 2 years younger, had done a lot of work together on our relationship and friendship. And so at this point, we were best friends. And she's like, why don't you come to Portland? And she had said this before, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm like, no way.
That place is weird.
Yeah. Well, and like, why would I leave Southern California for the rain?
Yeah.
But all these things started building up, and I was like, okay, I think maybe I am ready to go. And part of it too is that I was so, I had built such a big community of, my therapist, my recovery friends, just the meetings I went to, that I was scared to leave.
I bet.
I did not want to go back to drinking. And I watched other people leave the little bubble,
and they
relapse, and it's scary because some people die.
Yeah, valid concern.
They relapse and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that was definitely on my trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was the kind of drinker and user that I was.
Mm-hmm. That's good self-awareness.
Yeah.
So you're worried about ejecting.
Yeah.
And your sister was at Naropa and then she went to Portland. That's how she got to Portland.
Yeah.
For the music scene.
For the music scene. Yeah. She's a musician. Yeah. So she's been here a long time now. She's been here like 20 years. So anyway, so I made it up here. What really got me though is she's like, well, we're, Eleanor and my partner and I are getting married and we're thinking about having kids, and that I've always wanted kids, and it just I haven't met the right person. So like the thought of being an auntie made me happy. So I was like, okay, I can do this. So about 3 years ago, I moved up here, and I was actually working for LA Fitness at the time in just a weird twist of fate. And I had this big job where I was the group fitness manager for all of Oregon, Washington, and Canada.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. And I was like, how did this happen? It was really one of those things that just kind of like
landed, fell
in my lap. It was one of those opportunities, but it was great because I decided I didn't want to do that. And so I put in my 2 weeks notice because I was working 60 hours a week. I wasn't even moved into my apartment up here. Like I had a bed and my clothes.
And just working all the time.
And so I finally put in my 2 weeks. I was like, I'll figure out a place to go. And one of the other managers that I had become friends with was like, well, hey, I've got a friend I used to work with that owns a gym in Lake Oswego. Let me connect you two. And that's how I ended up at Project 360. And it's been great. It's the best gym I've ever worked at.
It's a pretty dope gym.
Yeah, it's just it's tight knit and
it's familial, very good communal.
Yeah, it is. But there aren't little cliques. Like I've been at other small gyms where there are cliques and like they clash, and there's a lot of competition between trainers, and that's just not that way.
Thank God.
Yeah. So that's been great, and the clients that I have here have just been great. I've made some really good relationships, and
so many cool people. Yeah. People that are famous or well off you would never know. They're just here. Like, I want to just start asking people, hey, I know you don't have a lot of time, but you want to come on my podcast? Like,
yeah. You never know what they are smart people. Yep. They are good at what they do. Yep. Everybody in there, for sure.
Yeah. Some really cool people.
Yeah.
There's a pro athlete. Was a Blazer that was maybe going to sign up recently.
Oh, yeah?
I can't remember which well, I think he's retired. I'm leaving the audience hanging, but hopefully he signs up. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So you're putting people through the paces. You like doing spin classes, you said. You're good at that.
Yeah, so I started teaching spin about 8 years ago. I've been doing that for a while now, and I love it. It's just a different type of meditation. Because when I go into a spin class, I do the class with them. I'm on the bike with them. And I have to be so dialed in physically and mentally that I cannot think about anything else for that hour. And yeah, it's
kind of nice.
It gives me a break from
rumination.
Yeah, my head a little bit.
And the internal squirrels, as I call them for us ADHDers.
Yeah, exactly. I like helping people and just, watching people progress. It's special.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then you also do individual training, but sometimes you're doing couples.
Yeah, I train multiple couples, husband and wives.
Mhm.
Actually, it's funny. Most of my clients, I'll get one and then they'll refer their spouse to me.
Ah, look at that.
Some of them work fine together. Some of them do not. So some of them we do separate
workouts.
And that it just depends on
Mhm.
the people, the couple. But yeah, I definitely get an inside look at people's lives. They're really
Totally.
generous in what they share with me and
Mhm.
what they trust me with.
Mhm.
So that's special to me because I used to not be a trustworthy person. Like
Right.
in my addiction, it was all about me.
Sure. As with any addiction.
And
right.
I just would manipulate people and use people and
to get what you needed.
to get what I needed.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I can be of support to people, and people come to me because I am trustworthy, and they know that, whatever they need, if it's just a vent or if it's a little bit of advice or whatever it is,
Mhm.
that I'm there for them.
And you were saying your training style is different than a lot of trainers. You kind of meet people where they're at, which I think is great because that's what we're taught to do as psychotherapists. Like,
Yeah.
we can't come in with an agenda for someone else because, one, we're not them. Two, we're disempowering them.
Yeah.
And three, they ain't going to like it.
Yeah.
Like, no one likes to be told what to do. So I think that's genius that you're doing that. I know a lot of other trainers have plans, but I don't know how they weave that in without being overbearing or, drill sergeanting them to death or whatever.
Mhm.
The way you were talking about it was like, wow, I would sign up with you because I like that. Maybe you can flesh it out for the listeners.
Yeah, I really try to get people to show up consistently. And that's I think the first step is be consistent and intentional with so we'll just keep it at training. I think it works in everything. But in physical fitness, it's like, yeah, you can start out strong, 5 days a week, 3 hours a day. Great. But how sustainable is that? Are you really going to sustain that for more than some people won't even make it a week, honestly.
Of course.
And so I just really, try to meet people where they're at. Listen to them is one thing. I don't tell them my agenda because, like you said, my agenda doesn't work for other people, and I've seen that. I've been doing this for a while now, and I've tried lots of different tactics, and I've tried to imitate the way other people train, and it just doesn't work for me. What I find works for me is meeting someone where they're at, listening to what they actually want and need, and then building that consistency. And then it's amazing. They, a lot of times they will achieve goals that they didn't even realize they had. And you can kind of move on. They can grow from there to a point where they're like, wow, this is bigger than I thought it could be. It goes beyond just losing 20 pounds or, getting washboard abs or whatever.
I mean, that's the whole point of personal training.
Yeah. So, and, one part of getting people to show up consistently is like, if there's an exercise that one of my clients is like, I hate this, I won't make them do it. Like I had a client that was like, I hate burpees. So I'm just like, we don't have to do a burpee.
You can hit the same muscle
something
groups.
else
Exactly.
without making you do a burpee. So instead of having people dread their sessions, it's like
they're going to not come if that happens.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to make you work. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find other ways to work those muscles, like you said.
Meet them where they're at.
But I'll kind of sneak it in there so they don't really realize
It's
what's
the
going
same
on.
thing.
Yeah. And then also just that personal connection I find works so well.
Mhm.
You know, I remember what they tell me.
Details.
And
Mhm.
and it makes them feel heard and
Trust you,
seen,
yeah.
and they want to come back because not only do they feel better physically when they leave,
Mm.
they probably feel better mentally, which
100%.
also is the endorphins and, you know, the
sure.
physiological
Yeah, for
parts
sure.
of working out.
Yeah, you're going to get that no matter what.
But if you can't get them through the door,
Right.
then you don't.
You don't get them out the door.
That doesn't work.
Exactly,
You know?
yeah.
So yeah, my big thing is just consistency and showing up, and for me too. I very rarely do I cancel on my clients. You know, I really try to show up on a consistent basis for them. Because you model that, and other people will see that it's important.
For sure.
And for them to show up for themselves is really what we're trying to get across, you know, like,
Bingo.
yeah. So that they can see, like, wow, this is not being selfish.
No.
That I'm doing this, that I'm spending this money, that I'm taking this time. I'm doing something for myself that's going to translate into me being a better parent or a better spouse or partner or whatever it is.
And it's self-compassion in a way.
Absolutely.
No, it must matter if I do this.
Yeah.
There's some psychological benefits that occur.
Yeah. Yep. So I feel really lucky in my job. I mean, I get to hang out with friends all day pretty much.
That's cool. And get paid to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really nice. And you make your own hours. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of upsides.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
I like your approach, your style. It's cool. Cool. So we got you up to speed there. And we did tease the audience with taking a hard left to the dating world because you have such funny or good dating story, give good war stories. And we were talking the other day about, I have a lot of guys that I see who are having a hard time, younger guys. The art of dating is like gone. Like they don't know what to do, how to do, what do women like? I'm terrified of them. Or they make all these classic mistakes. And
right.
Or, you know, dating profiles that you're just like, what? They need advice. So I think we do have a lot of male listeners. I think it would be awesome for them to get a woman's viewpoints on what the hell do you guys want, or what do you look at? What should we do as men? You know, I'm so glad I'm not in this fucking game anymore because, good Lord, it's gotten really convoluted. But you've had an adventure of your own.
Oh yeah, multiple. Yeah, it's funny because I'm one of the few single people in general at Project 360.
Which kind of blows my mind.
Well, and it's just funny, like, people now want to hear my story. It's like, I've got one client in particular that has his own family, and I train his wife, and the first thing he asks me every session is, go on any good dates recently? Like, he just wants to know the stories. Because yeah, I mean, it is brutal. It's hard to just keep getting up and doing it again and again and again.
It's exhausting.
And most of the dates I go on are pretty boring. They're fine. They're nice guys. They're fine.
Nice guys.
Well, when I say nice guys,
like good guys, but just kind of meh.
Good guys, but just they don't spark my interest, or maybe I don't spark theirs. And so it just doesn't go anywhere. So I go on a lot of first dates, and I'm just kind of shrug my shoulders. I'm like, okay, not too exciting. That wasn't the one. Which is fine, but it also gets kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Because
I'm like, okay, well now I got to do this again.
Yeah.
And then of course there are the few in there that are just weird.
You're going to get those.
The ones that I tell you about. I had one, it's been a little over a year now, that just blew my mind, that I was like, I cannot believe this is happening to me. Maybe this is a sign to just stop. But so I had been introduced to this guy online by a mutual friend of ours, and we had chatted back and forth, and we had a lot in common. And then we matched a few different times on the dating apps. And we just couldn't make it match up, really. So it was over a couple years that I knew of this guy. And then finally we got together and went out and had coffee, and it wasn't like a zap, like right away, like, oh, this is great. But we obviously had a lot in common.
Like potential?
Yeah, lots of potential. And so I got a text from him, and he's like, hey, let's try this again. Like, let's actually like try and do this. And I was like, yeah, let's try it.
Looking positive.
Yeah. And so we're texting back and forth, talking about dates and getting together and whatever. And then the text just stopped.
And this is like you'd gone through multiple like dates, and finally like I fucking maybe found someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're getting really hopeful at this
Yeah.
point.
And he was somebody that kept coming back into my orbit.
Yeah.
Over a period of a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, maybe, all right. I was getting hopeful about this one, you know?
Mhm.
And then, yeah, the text just stopped, which I was like,
I got ghosted.
I got ghosted. Like, again, I thought this,
Mhm.
oh, well. Well, then a couple days later, I was chatting with some clients I was training, and they were like, oh, did you hear about this guy that died in this tragic accident? And I was like, no, what happened? And so they're telling me about it. And as they're telling me, like, little details are popping out, and I'm like, oh no. And sure enough, it was the guy that I'd been talking to. He died in a really tragic accident, and it's just
It's sad, but also like at this point you're probably like screaming at the dating gods, like, what do I need to do?
Yeah.
Like I have a shit date. Oh, this guy could be potentially awesome. Not alive anymore.
Yeah, like
what do you want me to do?
Literally died. Yeah, and it's not funny at all. Like, it really threw me.
I bet it fucked with you.
I kind of took a break for a couple months after that, because I was just like,
yeah.
Oh, like what?
That would have shooken me up for sure.
Okay, wow.
Mhm.
Because he was my age too. I mean, when somebody passes away that's so young, it also, makes you reflect. And,
Totally does.
but yeah, so that, and I still think of him.
I
and,
bet.
But I try to turn it into something of like, hey, how you doing up there? Like, I'm still I will always remember you.
Good. Yeah.
And that's, if I were to die tomorrow, that's what I would want, is for people to be like, hey, remember Lindsay? Like,
Well said.
Just, so
Well said.
I try to honor him in that way, and also know, like, okay, I don't think there's just one soulmate for everybody, and now mine has
Good luck
died.
with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that was defeating for sure.
Oh man, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
And then recently you went to Europe, and you're like, I'm gonna find a European, because European guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And it was a great plan.
Yes.
Very well laid out.
Yes. So I was going to Europe with a couple girlfriends. We were staying for a couple weeks. We were just going to travel across a couple countries on the train, stay in places. So I'm like, perfect. I'll see if I can.
You're going to need an Australian for sure.
Yeah, exactly. A fellow traveler. I love to travel. So somebody else. And the first night we were there was the only night, we were in Geneva. It was the only night that we had like a nice hotel, because we were staying in hostels. Sure. And it was great. But the one night in a nice hotel, and I wake up in the morning and my eye is swollen shut. Like, just disgusting. Like red and puffy and swollen. It wasn't like pink eye. It wasn't my actual eye. It was just the skin around it, you know?
Just one eye.
Just one eye. So something had obviously bitten me, probably a spider or something.
Looked like someone socked you, probably.
Yeah. And so, so then I had to wear my glasses the whole trip. And they're very strict about giving medication out, like what medication you can get at pharmacies in Switzerland.
To get help. Yeah.
And so I'm like, I just need like some hydrocortisone, you know, to
stuff you can get at Safeway here.
Yeah. And they would not give it to me. So finally, I did have to go to the doctor, and they gave me some. But by that time, a week had gone by, and I'm like, well, I blew my chance to find my European, you know, husband that's going to whisk me off my feet.
Exactly.
I'll never go back to the United States. No, not that I want that, but
no, of course, unless you're like attracting all like the domestic violence guys out there.
Yeah, right.
She likes people that punch her in the face.
Yeah. So that I was, and you know what? I went paragliding on that trip, and it's a tandem thing, and so the guy that I was strapped to was
very nice,
very handsome, and the first thing he asked me was, "So is your husband waiting for you at the bottom?"
Oh, it's
and
on.
I was like, "Oh, okay."
It's on, yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're doing this. So I was like, no husband. I was like, I'm unattached. And then I start asking him about, you know, like, so do you have a partner? Do you have kids? No, I don't. And so I'm like, oh, cool. Well, you know, he's going to take me up paragliding, and then maybe we'll hang out for the next couple days. That'd be fun, right? So I'm trying to drop hints, and I guess I was too subtle. Because then by the time we land, so you jump off a mountain, basically, and then you fly around for a while and into the valley. And you have to find your own way from the valley back to the town.
Damn.
I know.
A little adventurous. Yeah.
I mean, there's a bus, and like you can get a cab or something like that.
Just got to figure it out.
You just, yeah. Or you can walk. It was only a couple miles, but he had a car, and so I was like, okay, maybe he'll offer to give me a ride back, you know? But nope, we landed, he like gave me my little certificate and was like, nice to meet you, see you later. Like gets in his car and drives away, and I'm like standing there in this field like okay, like maybe I was too subtle, I don't know. Because I wanted to like hang out with him. Yeah. I wanted to be like, hey, let's go get, you know,
Speaking
dinner
from
or
guys'
whatever.
experience, we are idiots when it comes to this. You have to be not subtle. And actually, we kind of like it. Like, be obvious. Because we won't get it. Two, it's kind of nice to have somebody approach us. Mm-hmm. So that's a pro tip for women listeners. He probably didn't get it.
Yeah.
Or he was just super polite. But he probably just didn't get it. He's like, man, I really messed up. She wasn't talking that much. He probably was beating himself up with driving away. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah. I mean, well, and I've definitely come out of my shell more and have gotten more assertive just in my years of I've been single for 11 years.
That
so
does not make sense to me. I don't get it. I don't get it.
So I've definitely like gotten good at dating because I've dated a lot over those 11 years. I've been on a lot of dates. And I mean, I've dated people for a couple weeks, a couple months, but it's nobody that I ever considered like called my boyfriend or it considered having like a long
like a family or whatever,
thing with, you know. So that's what I mean when I say I'm single. But
sure, yeah.
But yeah, no, it is hard to find that line of like, because I'm an introvert. I'm not an overtly like.
Yeah, it's taxing.
You know, and I do have that voice in my head still that's like, you're not good enough. You're, you know, no one would like you. Like,
right.
That comes down to it. And as much therapy as I've done and as illogical as that is,
it's still there.
It's still there.
Yeah. And we were talking about doing more unconscious somatic IFSC kind of work that may work better than the usual cognitive behavioral therapy, where you get the insight, as Lori Gottlieb says, it's the booby prize. I call it the white elephant gift in therapy, is like you spend all this time building the blueprint of like why things are and why you hurt and your past trauma. And you're like, cool, I got this cool blueprint. And then you just talk about the blueprint for 5 years.
Yeah.
And then you start identifying with your pain. Like, it's almost like your star sign. I'm an avoidant attachment and I have PTSD and it's like you start identifying with that and think, I'm this human who can't change. That's where talk therapy gets messed up. You got to look at that blueprint and go, okay, that blueprint tells us what trails to go down. Now we have to go into the body and have an emotional experience, because you can't think your way through an emotional experience. You got to have an emotional experience again with the traumatizing event or whatever it is. And that tells the brain that you can make an update. Otherwise, it's just cute little logic. Like, oh yeah, I went through a bad childhood and blah, blah, blah. It's just a narrative in your brain.
Right.
Just codes it as that.
Yeah.
If you get into your body and you have an emotional experience, things change. But talk therapy doesn't get there sometimes. Sometimes it does, but it's these other new therapies that are coming out that have been around, ironically, but they're marrying together with the cognitive, which finally they needed to happen once again. I mean, you think of Carl Jung, he was already doing that like 100 years ago. It's coming back around, which is great. So that might be the next frontier for you, because we do have parts of us that say these things in inner critics, but in IFS, there are no bad parts. They're just they want the best for you, but sometimes they don't know how hard in the paint they're going.
Right.
You know, like, no one's going to like you. So if I yell harder and say that, you'll do something about it. But as my therapist says, you can't shame your way into self-compassion.
Yeah.
Did not work.
Doesn't work for me either, surprisingly. Yeah.
You can't flagellate yourself into feeling better.
Right.
But that's what the ego does, and the parts, I think, spring from the ego. So that's going in and working with them and not trying to like kill them off, just have a relationship, heal them. They're just inner little children inside of us that still hurt.
Yeah.
And that's a core wound for you, obviously, from a long time ago.
Obviously. I mean, because really, I'm never going to see this person again. I should have just been like, hey, what are you doing for dinner tonight?
What I got to lose. Yeah.
You know, what do I have to lose? If he says no, well, then I got to ride the bus back to town. You're
still in the field by yourself.
Yeah, I'm still, and so either way, yeah, you're right. It's
take the risk.
Yeah, and I would definitely say that to men as well, because I know men don't want to come across as creepy.
We're terrified to be that guy.
Yeah,
these days,
and I do appreciate that.
But it can be too much sometimes, I think.
Well, absolutely, because if it's hard. None of us are mind readers, unfortunately.
Damn it.
So yeah, I don't know. I think for myself and for men out there, like, make eye contact. I find that helps.
Just like hold the gaze a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But don't have a staring contest at the same time.
No. Don't do the up and down. Guess what? We can see your eyes moving up and down over our bodies. Like, that is creepy.
Wait, you can notice that?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
But if you just look in my eyes, that is going to make me feel safer.
Yes. You're not an object to that point.
Yeah.
You're a human.
Yeah. So,
not that later on that might not do it for you, but first you got to make the human contact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm talking about meeting people in real life, which is kind of definitely a lost art form.
Crazy, right?
Since COVID.
Yeah, since dating websites.
And but it's funny. I remember my therapist, I don't remember how many years ago this was, but she was like, maybe you should get on the dating apps. And I was like, absolutely not. No, like, I'm not going to be that person. Because it still had that kind of stigma to it.
Now everybody's
But now it's just like, you got to. I mean, you don't have to.
You could do both. In real life, it's probably better, but it's a numbers game, right?
Yeah. And I just don't meet that many new people.
It's an introvert problem, right? We're not out doing shit. And like, you're not out at the bars, obviously.
Yeah.
You got that layer. So
Yeah.
where are you meeting people? That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, but with the dating apps, so it's if you have if you have a friend that's a girl and you're trying to make a dating profile, like let her help you.
Great
with your
tip.
photos.
Like, and maybe
please,
what you write.
And what you write.
What are some don'ts with photos?
Don'ts with so I personally don't. There's a lot of car photo, like in your car photos, like you're driving. There. It's like from below, and they're like driving and not looking at the camera. So it's
they're in the car driving.
Yes.
And that's the profile photo.
Yeah.
Not even like, hey, this is my cool car. Ta-da.
No,
It's just like you don't even know what car they're driving.
No.
That's just lazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just like from below, and then they're not looking at the camera because
they're driving.
It's like they're trying to act cool, like they don't like it's a candid photo that you're taking of yourself
with your selfie stick. Oh my God.
So that's one. The other one is, of course, the mirror selfie.
Oh, classic.
Like selfies are okay. Some selfies are okay.
Sure.
But
you know what, the shirt off in the mirror one with the.
I mean, yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
That comes later, right?
Yeah, it comes later. It comes later. If someone asks for it, fine, go ahead.
Yeah.
Once you know somebody, but not on the profile. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, don't do that. The other thing, don't post a picture of yourself with a friend or friends that are more attractive than you are.
Oh, that's my favorite one.
I'm so sorry. You know which friends of yours are like more attractive than you.
And you put them in your photo.
Don't put them in your photo.
Because
then I'm going to look at it and be like, oh,
I
this
like that guy.
Cute.
Yeah.
And then I scroll down.
And you're disappointed.
And I'm disappointed.
I used to have that too. And I was like, it would be like four women on the dating profile. I'm like, this is the best dating site ever. I get all four?
Yeah.
I hit the fucking jackpot.
Yeah.
But it's like, which one are you? Like, this doesn't, sometimes literally it was just one picture. I'm like, swipe left or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
There's four people. Yeah, one picture. Makes no sense.
Yeah.
So women make these mistakes too, I guess. But
yeah, I'm sure. And part of it too is just that I've been doing this for so long. I can very quickly spot a fake profile.
Bullshit meter,
for one thing.
Like the bot ones?
Yeah, bots. Yeah. Yep. And it's always pictures that are a little too good.
A little too.
Like, wow, that lighting's really nice. Yeah. It's really crisp.
Yeah.
That guy's really good looking.
It's like an 11 out of 10. Why are you here?
Yeah, so that I've gotten it good. And it's so fun. My sister and her wife have gotten in the habit of, they love the stories too. So they like get on and swipe through people and they're like, what about this one? I'm like, fake. They're like, how do you know? I'm like, I've seen too many of them. Uh-huh. Yeah, so that's funny. So don't feel bad if you get a lot of bots
that are out there
because we get them too.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other tips?
What should be written?
What should be written?
Because
it doesn't have to be super long.
It doesn't. Okay.
It does not. Okay. But put just a couple things that you're interested in. A little, maybe a sentence about what you're looking for. Answer a couple of prompts. Those make it easy, and you can just, when you're scrolling through, like, oh, that's kind of funny, and make it specific things about like what you're into, like, because that way, like if I'm trying to respond to somebody, if there's something like a certain musician, I like that on Bumble at least you can see their Spotify if they connect it, and so that helps for me to be like, oh, you like this artist.
Yeah.
And so that's a way to, instead of just sending hi, because then it's like, oh, okay, now what? Then I can be like, oh, I see you like this. Have you seen them in concert or whatever? Have you seen them live?
Conversation starters.
So that's good. Things, if you have a dog or a pet, that makes it easy to start a conversation.
Put those in the profile pictures or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, not all of them.
No, yeah.
That's the other thing about pictures.
Weird. That can get weird. Yeah.
Don't put a ton of pictures that you're not in. Like
a sunset.
Yeah. No, there are a lot more landscape photos than there needs to be. There should be none.
Unless you put, I like photography. Here are some of my photos. It's like, what are you trying to tell me? Like, you like long walks on the beach and sunsets? Or
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the thing is like, okay, you're a photographer. Write that in the profile.
Check out my pictures.
Yeah, you can say check out my pictures, but honestly,
but be in some of them.
Be in all of them, please.
Okay.
Like, if you're a photographer, show me the photos on our first date.
Clever.
Rather than on your profile.
Clever.
Because I don't know. I'm to the point where I like to get to the point.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, do I
you don't want to filter shit anymore.
I don't I want to meet you.
Yeah.
If it looks like we have some things in common,
then we'll have that coffee date.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then at the coffee date is when you start being like, yeah, look, I'm a photographer. Here are some of the photos the scenes I like to take pictures of or whatever. That's a great time to elaborate on stuff like that rather than putting, a couple of landscapes and then 3 photos of your dog. It's like, yeah, your dog's cute, but like, you can show me pictures of your dog later.
Like, the only picture you get is the car one.
Yeah, and then all you get is the selfie in the car.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, that.
What about first date do's and don'ts?
First date, treat it is a first impression.
Yeah. Don't
forget that just because it's a coffee date, and that's the general thing now that I've noticed is like, it's generally not going to be a big, not dinner, it's like, let's meet for coffee or a drink.
It's an interview, basically.
Yeah. Let's check each other's energy. So if you show up and then you're in a dirty, ratty hoodie and flip-flops, and I've spent the last hour like putting on makeup and doing my hair, and yeah, maybe I'm not looking super fancy, but I've put some effort into.
Yeah, you're looking pretty hot, and you're ready to rock. Yeah,
yeah.
You put some effort into.
And then if you don't put any effort in, I immediately am just like, ugh.
Yeah, what does that signal to your mind?
That signals to me that if you're not trying right now, what's going to happen in 6 months after we've been dating for a while?
When it gets harder.
And it gets harder, are you going to be willing to put effort in to take me out on a date or, whatever it is? I mean, the effort, I see the effort, and then thinking down the road, what is that effort going to look like?
And I think guys don't understand that. They think it's fine, and they probably will put effort in, I would imagine, with some, but it does send the wrong message, and I don't think we're thinking that one through. And then I always tell guys, like, dude, you got to wear nice shoes. Women, they'll check your ass, and then they're going to check your shoes. We check women's ass, and it stops. We don't care about the shoes. Yeah. Women give a lot of fucks about what your footwear looks like.
Yes.
And confirmed by you the other day.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't tell you why. I really don't
get
know.
It. Yeah.
I really don't know why. But if I like someone's shoes, it's like a go ahead for me.
Yeah.
If they're wearing like crappy shoes that just are dirty and ratty and look like you've been wearing them every day for the last 3 years.
With white socks.
Yeah. Then I'm just like, oh God, okay. Like that's just it's not going to like turn me off completely, but it's a black mark against you. Like, I'm sorry. It's kind of like I've got a tally in my mind and it like goes in the negative column.
Exactly.
And I know it sounds shallow, but
there's something to it.
And it's a lot of it's personal preference too. So you might get some women who are not who that doesn't matter to.
Of course.
And that's
Yeah,
great.
Sure.
So it does depend on like what your values are and stuff. Like if you don't want somebody that's gonna worry about appearance at all,
Like you just go barefoot or whatever.
yeah, then that's one thing.
Mhm.
But like if you have in mind that you want an attractive woman that puts effort into her appearance, then you better be putting effort into your appearance.
Bingo. Yeah, that's because then you're aligned.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not aligned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like if you really don't care and you're all about the personality and you don't care about appearance and
Mhm.
stuff, then
Well-
put that vibe out there.
Yeah.
But you're not,
You're not gonna get the.
you're going to attract what
Exactly.
you put out there.
That's such a good statement right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what we should be doing. I think there's something with the shoes of like, one, effort, but two, like interest and like artistic taste maybe, or maybe they're an interesting human. Like, wow, they really thought about this. I wonder what else that translates to.
Yeah.
That maybe draws women in by that. I mean, trying to logic my way through why you guys so care. Oh, I know you all, like stereotypically speaking, like shoes. You know, the classic women with 1,000 shoes in their closet. Maybe there's something to it there, but I mean, short of like Air Jordan collectors, guys sure don't will care about those shoes. But
Right.
like I would just tell guys, like get a nice pair of shoes when you go on a date. Like don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you can maybe make some Jordans work for you with a nice suit. Like you can make that work. You know, on the coffee date wearing something like that, but like just some nice brown or black dress shoes.
Well, but like you have nice shoes on.
Yeah, these are
Like
Quifs.
you've obviously thought about those shoes.
Yeah.
They're unique. They're,
Yeah, that starts the story, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. And honestly, that's the first thing I noticed about you today when I walked in.
Look at that.
As I was like, oh, his shoes are cool. Like,
so funny. It's so awesome. I love this phenomenon.
And then my eyes traveled up and I'm like, oh, he's wearing a collared shirt. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
But you're not overly dressed up,
Yeah.
but you're dressed in a way that makes me think like, hey, we're doing a podcast today.
Yeah.
We're like,
I didn't show up in my gym clothes.
Exactly.
Unless we were working out before, like Josh and I used to do for the podcast.
Well, that's one thing.
That'd be
I mean,
different.
come on. It's funny, actually. I live in gym clothes.
Yeah.
And I've pretty much, just until a couple months ago, I was like, you know what? I need some regular street clothes just to like go out in. Because normally, I mean, I would dress up for a date, but it'd be like black leggings and like a nice top or something. And I'm like, okay, I got to get like some jeans.
Some variety.
Some real clothes. And so I actually went to a store and was like, help me. like I just want, it's summer's coming up, like help me. And so I've started wearing, like I would never wear I'm wearing some black jean shorts today. Like I would never wear them.
It looks good.
Before. And people, like, so many people mention it to me now.
There you go.
Like everyone I see is like, wow, you look great. Like, and I'm like, it's just because I decided I like started paying a little bit more attention to it and was like, okay, I'm not going to wear just my, my workout shoes and my leggings and whatever.
Yeah, we walked into the gym and Larissa didn't even notice who we are at first. She said that.
I know.
I didn't recognize you guys. Without your workout gear on.
Like, what? You did your hair. Like, what's going on? So it makes a difference, and just remember it's a first impression, and one thing for me, I like, and I know guys will push back on this just because of the times we're in, but I do like when a guy opens the door for me or pays on the first date.
We love to do that kind of shit. We love to do that.
Like
we were afraid that we're going to get barked at if we do it.
And that's what I mean is like guys have said that to me before. Like, well, I didn't want you to yell at me.
Yeah. Or I'm mansplaining or something. It's like, no, I'm just being nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's still for a lot of women, and there's a type of woman that is going to be like, no, don't get the door for me. And that's fine. That's
Sure. That's your
but
thing.
it's usually a type that
Mhm.
you're choosing to go after that type.
Correct. Yeah. Maybe
Right?
that's not the one for you.
Yeah.
You're not aligned. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of times I just went out on a date this past weekend where we went and had drinks and he's like, oh, I'll pay for this round. And I'm like, okay.
That's just a timeless one, guys. Don't do the Dutch thing, because if you're getting into a relationship with a woman, and this is a generalization, if they're thinking long term, they're thinking safety and security, you might be the breadwinner. Are you going to make them feel part of the team, or are we just roommates and split skis on everything? Like, that sets a tone right there. No, you want to set the tones like, hey, I'm investing in you and us. This is a team thing. I got this. I got you. That probably makes you feel calm and respected and safe. Don't do the Dutch thing. It's
no,
unless you're in Germany where that's like a normal thing. Like, you're cleared hot in Germany. Here, don't do that.
Yeah, especially on the first few dates.
Odd.
Yeah, well, and
that's why I do a coffee
so date. Yeah, so he said that, and that stuck in my mind. And then we went out to dinner after, and sure enough, the check comes, and he kind of gave me a look or something, and I'm like, want to split it?
Oh my God.
And I was just like, yeah, that's okay.
Why'd you're dating to do shit like that? I mean, and that's why you should do a coffee date, because I think that the onus still is kind of on the man to do that. And it does show respect. But yeah, you don't want to go to the Ritz-Carlton and have a $500 dinner your first date for every date while you're dating, because that's insane. But the coffee date's going to cost you $10. Like, come on.
Yeah, come on. But to your point, I have been a guy, we did do a dinner date first. It was his idea. He chose the spot. He invited me out to dinner, and then
he invited you.
He invited me.
That means you pay.
To the spot.
That means he who invites pays.
Yeah, and as soon as the check comes, he says, "Do you want to split it?" And what am I supposed to say? Like, I mean, I could say no.
You could. But then you don't want to be mean.
But I don't want to be mean.
But you'd also he just friend zoned himself.
Yeah, and what that said to me was, oh yeah, he's not going to make me a part of his life.
Exactly.
He's not willing to let me in.
Exactly what message is sent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are weird with money too. And it's probably some of these guys are probably like, I'm spending so much money on these dates, I got to figure out. I mean, they're thinking that way, but you can't do that. Then just do coffee dates. Just keep the expenses low.
Or go for a walk.
Hey, that's
especially right now. This weather in Portland, especially
unbeatable.
But everywhere else, it's still summer. And go for a walk. Like do something.
Do a hike.
Do a hike.
Mm-hmm. Do a lot of cool talking.
Don't be offended if somebody might say, I don't feel comfortable going on a hike.
Fair.
And that's perfectly fair.
Let's go in the middle of nowhere and walk on a trail with no one else.
Yeah, that's probably
let's
maybe
not.
Not. Like
that's fourth date material.
Yeah, I'm saying go for a walk down by the river where there's other people walking by.
Yeah.
You know, that's a really, and I find it's calming to be able to move while you're getting to know somebody. It kind of like walking tends to, I don't know.
Something about the ambulatory nature.
Yeah.
Increases dopamine and getting after things. Plus, you're not staring at someone's eyes the whole time and doing the eye contact dance. Like, it bypasses all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard for me to sit still and not fidget.
There's that layer with the goddamn ADD.
Yeah.
You give us caffeine and like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But it is hard, and just try. I think you do just have to keep going. And one thing that's helped me, it's hard to do. It's easier said than done, but just to try not to take things personally. When somebody says, hey, I'm just not interested.
Not feeling it. Yeah.
I'm not feeling it.
It's not a slight to your soul.
No. And I mean, that's more for like the first date when somebody is then like, yeah, I'd rather not continue this connection. It's harder if you've been out on a few dates. It's definitely harder not to take it personally.
Sure. Yeah.
But I find it's hard to get past the first few dates. That's the issue I've had here. Not the only issue, but
That's still surprising to me. But it's like, where are you fishing? We need a new pond.
I know. Yeah. Agreed. Maybe.
Same with a lot of guys I talk to. It's just, what is going on? Yeah, I think some guys get really, really nervous the first date about the first impressions thing because they know about it, but then they are in their heads the whole time, and then they lock up and like afraid to say anything. And like that's gonna not work out for you either.
Yeah.
What should guys do there?
Talk about what gets you excited, what you like to do. So if you're into rock climbing, let's say, there's a climbing gym right near my house. So if you like going to the climbing gym, start talking about that. If you are really, and this sounds really funny, I'm totally a World War II history nerd.
Really?
Yeah.
You just went way up in my book.
Yeah. Which most people, when they hear that, they're like, what?
Really? Like you've had guys balk at that? I think a lot of guys would be like, that's awesome.
No. What I mean is people say, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't look like I would be that type of person,
No.
right?
No.
So that has happened a lot on dates where guys are like, really? Or like,
that's a turn on.
I like, Band of Brothers is one of my favorite all-time series.
Will you marry me?
What? But the point of that is that you don't know what people are into.
Bingo. Yeah, good point.
So being open with what you like is how you're gonna find somebody that is also into the same things that you like. Because if you're like, oh, that's nerdy that I like sometimes I've felt before like, oh, it's nerdy that I like history. But but I do. And so why not share that with people so that I can find somebody that also will nerd out with me on
that's what you
history.
Want. Yeah. It's all interviews to see if you're aligned.
Yeah.
It's all about alignment and and your must-haves and can't stands, and then some attraction on top of it. Yeah. And then it's all interviewing until that works.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk about the things that you like. For me, it's important that a guy is physically active just because
what are
that's
your values?
What I like.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
washboard abs.
Not necessarily. I know people are like, oh, you're a personal trainer. I
I bet you get that one all the time.
It's a little uncomfortable. Like guys will be like, oh, I'm not hot enough for you, or I'm not in good enough shape. And I'm like, no, that's not it. I'm not looking for perfection, like that you're in the gym 7 days a week, and that's not it. But I do. One of the things I like to do with my partner is go to the gym. I think it's sexy. I think it's hot. That's something that I want. And so just think about that. Like if you're somebody that isn't really into a physical activity, like find something that you like and start trying it out, because I guarantee you that'll open up your window with more women.
Absolutely.
Because it doesn't have to be anything insane. You don't have to start running marathons or entering weightlifting competitions. It's not like that. But if you don't have any hobbies where you're out doing stuff,
probably not the guy for you.
Yeah, exactly. So the other red flag for me that I've run into a lot, and again, this is personal, like my own personal opinion.
We all have them.
Is that someone that has not traveled outside the United States is a red flag for me.
Yeah, you want someone because you like to be adventurous and travel.
So that's part of it, is I like to be adventurous and travel, and I want a partner that is willing to do that as well.
See the world.
But also, to me, if you have not ventured outside your comfort zone, then your perspective is very limited.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of shit going on in the world without getting political. I mean, I want to be able to have conversations about that with people, whether their views are exactly the same as mine or not.
To just have an idea about it.
Yeah. I want somebody that has more of a worldview perspective and can like have empathy for like, wow, there are people living through war zones right now.
Rather than like
that's their reality.
I've been to Idaho once.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I mean, and if you've never been outside of your home base, your perspective is just cannot include.
No, it's all pseudo through probably social media or the news, and that's just fake. You're gonna get a hot take anyways.
Yeah, and nowadays it's hard to find sources to trust.
Yeah,
and so seeing it with your own two eyes is really valuable.
It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Absolutely
So
mind-blowing.
that's another thing is like venture out of your comfort zone. Find out what's going on in the world. Because on dating profiles, that's another thing I look at is the political status. If it's apolitical, I usually swipe left. I usually say no. Because if you really have no opinion on what's going on in the world today, that's not somebody that
it's
just not deep enough.
It's not deep enough. Or it can go the other way where everyone's got like all the flags and all the things that are going on and all the pronouns and everything. It's like,
well, that's
okay, I know exactly where you stand.
Well,
and I needed to know that, but
exactly. But they're at least they have their
like
beliefs and their values up front, and you can decide yes, that's for me, or no, that's not.
That's true. I guess the alignment piece comes in again.
Yeah,
you know right away that I probably will not be aligned with that person.
Yeah,
or it's going to be hard.
And that's what I mean is I'm not trying to say choose one way or the other. Just that I think it's important to show people who you actually are, because if you're like holding back and you don't, like, if you voted for Trump, put it on your profile, because
then you know
there are people out there that will date you. It's not going to be me.
You're not you're swiping right on that one. I don't know what left or right is. I'm just guessing. I can't remember which means yes or no.
Right means yes. Left means no.
On all of them?
Yeah.
Is that it's like a common thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. I think it's all universal that way.
If you was trained now.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. But I guess just what I'm trying to say is be clear about what you want and who you are. And that's going to get rid of a lot of the bullshit.
It will. Yeah. It will.
Yeah. And there are people out there for everybody. So
yeah, you need to cut through the crap to get there quicker.
Yeah.
Get to that first coffee interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old Jerry Seinfeld bit. He was like, dating's just like going to a job interview, except for at the end of the interview, you have the option of taking your pants off.
True. Yeah. Sometimes.
Bonus.
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes, like, no, please do not do that.
Yeah, yeah. Nope. Keep those pants on.
Yeah. If you had nice shoes, maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So,
well, those are good tips. We all need help. We got to heal the gender sex wars and come back together somehow. It's just getting nutty.
Yeah.
Social media is getting nutty. And I think guys are giving up, hiding out, or not putting a lot of effort in.
Yep.
And you're all wondering where all the good guys at. And like you think, oh, they must be taken. Well, they're not. They're just hiding.
Yeah.
They're scared. It's like you both are staring at each other. Who's making the move? Who's making the move? And no one's making the move.
Exactly.
And that's not good for population and having babies and being happy and blah, blah, blah. So guys, don't be scared to be a douche, because you're probably not going to be. I mean, there are those guys, but you're probably not that guy.
Yeah. And just come read the room too. Like,
yeah, practice reading the room.
Yeah. And feel it out a little bit. if she's on the treadmill with her headphones in,
That means do not approach.
do not approach.
Mhm.
Like, she's busy.
I'm in my world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if she's kind of like hanging around you and
Yeah. Making eye contact.
yeah, like say hello.
Mhm.
That's all it takes
Mhm.
is, hey, I'm Lindsay.
Mhm.
I've seen you around.
And whatever else from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
That's half of it. I think guys, women are probably better at that than men, like the reading the room thing. I think we need coaching around that probably. Maybe not some guys, but
Yeah.
that whole body language thing is a whole field of its own. It's really fascinating.
It
You
is.
can learn a lot of cool stuff if you look into it.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely.
Well, good. I think that'll help some guys and some women.
I hope so. I mean, and that's the thing is, one of my dad's favorite things to say to me is, well, are you sure you don't just intimidate men all the time? And I'm like,
I think anything
I'm
your
like-
dad says, just do the opposite.
yeah, exactly. But maybe I do. But the point is, I'm not trying to. And I think most people are not trying to intimidate other people.
No.
And
Unless they got an issue, but
right. But I think, especially when you're both looking to date, it's like just try and be open and vulnerable, because most people are just looking for the same thing. And
yep. Can I trust you
yeah.
to come into my world?
So
We overcomplicate it a lot of the times.
yeah, I'm good at that too.
All of us are. Yeah. Well, that's why we do these podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, it's awesome to finally have you on. We'll probably have a redo at some point. It'd be cool to have you and Josh at the same time at some point.
Yeah, that'd be fun
Yeah.
for sure. Well, I'm sure I'll have some more dating stories.
Or maybe not after this podcast. You might be getting some like, I want to sign up for personal training. Wink, wink, nod, nod. You got this rush of like, I like all these guys wanting to sign up all of a sudden.
Yeah. Weird.
Speaking of that, how should people find you?
Well, I am definitely, I'm on the Project 360 website. You can also follow me on Instagram. I don't post a whole lot. I'm going to be posting more, but that's at Lindsay Det, LindsayDett.
Can people find a link there to sign up for training through Instagram?
Just send me a message
DM
through
you.
there
Okay.
if you're interested. And yeah, I'll send you my email and my contact info. and we
Sign up
can,
info. Cool.
Yeah, talk from there.
I'll put
But
it
yeah.
in the show notes too, so people can find it.
Yeah, and I'd love to hear from you. So if you have questions.
Yeah,
About
dating or physical
dating or-
physical health.
yeah, trading, whatever it is. I'm an open book, and about recovery
I
too.
was going to say that. Yeah.
My big thing for the reason why I share my story so much and so often is because I want to help other people.
Mhm.
And if somebody you know is struggling with addiction, or if you are, and you just want somebody to talk to about it or have questions, definitely reach out to me on Instagram. And
That's
yeah.
cool. You're helping people all over
I
the
just
place.
want to help people, because it's tough. I wouldn't wish addiction on anyone.
No,
It's
version of hell. Yeah.
yeah, it's really rough.
Mm.
But you can make it through. It's
Mhm.
not hopeless, and there are people out there very willing to help you.
Mhm.
So
Who have made it through and came out fine. Yep.
Yep.
Badass. All right. We'll link to all the stuff so people can stalk you now. Just what you wanted.
Thank
all right.
you.
Closing thoughts?
No, just thank you for having me on.
Of course.
Yeah, this has been fun.
You got 2 more podcasts you're going on here pretty soon.
I
Right.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's podcast season for you.
it is.
Mhm.
It is. So
Well,
maybe
people
I'll
will-
have to start my own sometime. No,
Maybe.
I don't know. With all my stories, I have
you
more.
would be able to.
I have more.
You 1,000% would be able to. All right, y'all. We'll see you next time. If this helped anybody, feel free to share. And we'll see you next week. Right.